What's going on YouTube? This is Max coming back at you once again with another video. This time I'm going over it did Yamaha deliver for 2021 with a new receiver lineup for this year. Now if you like this type of content, if you do me a favor by hitting that like button and that subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. Now I'm about to go ahead and go through my rant on the new Yamaha receivers. If you want to know the answer if they deliver or not, the quick answer is no, they did not deliver. So you go ahead and stop the video if you want to, but if you want to hear my reason why I say they didn't deliver, then please go ahead and watch the rest of the video. One thing that they didn't deliver is they have a promise of 4K 120 AK60 pass-through that was supposed to be coming out in October. It's December. As I'm recording this right now is December 2021, and it's supposed to be coming out in October, which they didn't deliver. Now we're finding out that it got pushed to February of 2022, which is a huge bummer because for people who do have capable TVs who are looking for this type of receiver, it is a huge letdown because now you have other competitors like the Denon and Marantz and Onkyo and even the Pioneer Elite receivers that came out all have the 4K 120, and the only one that is missing these features is Yamaha, which is a huge letdown. Now I understand that they're supposed to go through the certification for the HDMI 2.1 specs for enabling the 4K 120 and so forth, but it just at this point right now for people who are early adopters like myself, because I got the receiver back in September, I was on the assumption, and a lot of other people are on the assumption, people bought this receiver simply because they wanted to do the 4K 120. Now with the 4K 120, I know that's not the most important thing, but that is a very important feature for me, and that was like one of the reasons why I didn't want to go with Denon, Marantz, or Onkyo, or Pioneer Elite. The reason why I didn't want to go with Denon or Marantz is because they only have one HDMI 2.1, and if you wanted to get 3 more inputs, then you had to go through the situation where you had to get an external adapter or another set-top box that goes on top of that, which you had to pay additional money for. And also too, for the Onkyo and Pioneer, their receivers, their top of the line receivers only have 9 channel surround 9.2, and for me I have 11 speakers because now I have all my speakers finally. But that was one of the other reasons why I didn't want to go with Onkyo or go with Pioneer in that case. So the only other company was Yamaha. Yamaha said that they have all their inputs that's supposed to be HDMI 2.1 capable, that's supposed to do 4K 120, AK60 pass-through, and it's supposed to come out with Auro 3D, and none of those features came out. So I don't know what Yamaha is doing or what they're thinking. They even released some of their, even the Auro 3D up there. I wish they would have just did that just to hold some of the customers back from, going to the other competitors. For me, I kept the receiver because I was really under the assumption that they was going to deliver on what they promised. But they didn't. And stuff. Do I regret buying the Yamaha RX-888 receiver? Yes and no. Yes, it's just like what I mentioned before, is the 4K 120, the AK60 pass-through, and the feature with the Auro 3D. I do. That was one of the reasons why I bought the receiver, and then also too, all the inputs supposed to be HDMI 2.1, just with a firmware update. Now going back to my no situation is that the receiver is actually really good if you're not looking for these specific features, one thing, the receiver is really good once you have all your speakers connected, or depending on what type of layout you're doing, it sounds incredible. And and if you haven't subscribed to my video, subscribe to my channel and looked at my previous video, I do have a Denon 4500H, and doing the comparison between Yamaha and Denon, Yamaha does a great job. Now, don't get me wrong. I know Yamaha RX 888 is a higher tier than the Denon 4500, so I can't do comparison between the 6700 HAs was supposed to be comparison to what the Yamaha is. But for me, it's just, I thought Yamaha was the better receiver when it comes to sound quality. So I had to switch it up to a different camera and microphone for some apparent reason. While I was going through my rant on the Yamaha, my sound cut off. So I was talking for almost 10 minutes. And when I was going back and editing the video, I found out that I have no sound on the video. But to go back on to Yamaha, just like how I mentioned before, I think Yamaha, as it is, if you're not looking for the 4K 120 or you're looking for any type of gaming features, that is a great receiver. I think it is one of the great receivers. I'm not saying it's at the top yet because of some of the quirks that I just mentioned before. One thing, I talked about the audio delay issues, but besides that, if we take away the 4K 120 and the Auro 3D and stuff like that, just talk about just the Atmos portion of it and DTSX, it does a really good job for the receiver. Now, if you're a person who is on the fence with this receiver and you need to get a receiver today, it all comes down to your use case scenario. If you're into gaming, and you have to get a receiver today, go with a Denon Marantz Onkyo Pioneer that I mentioned before, or you could just wait until the firmware update for the Yamaha, which is supposed to be coming out in February 2022. Those are kind of like my suggestions. If you had the choice today, would you get the Yamaha? I would say, and you looking for just specifically the gaming features, no, I want to get this receiver. I would say either go with the Denon, just like how I mentioned before, or just hold off and wait till the new firmware update for February. But besides that, I'm kind of curious of what you guys think of the Yamaha receiver, or if anyone have the latest Onkyo or Pioneer or the Denon with the HDMI 2.1 capability. Is it something really important to everyone, or is it something that you really don't care about? I'm kind of curious to know what the comments on the receiver. Are you disappointed with Yamaha, how the way they handle the firmware updates should have been done when the product was released, or should they just hold off on a receiver and just released it in early 2022? You know, I just want to know your suggestions. So let me know in the comments. But if you have any questions, please let me know. I try to do the best I can to respond to any comments. Subscribe to my channel. Like this video if you like this type of content. But until next time, I hope wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays. And until the next one, I'll see everyone on the next video. Take care.